guys, it's Jen, and today I'm wearing my Oscar the Grouch t-shirt, which I always kind of wear when I'm feeling a little bit grouchy. But then I had this wonderful lunch with my mom and a nice walk outside, even though it's very, very cold. It's also very, very sunny. And now it's the perfect time for me to paint a picture for you guys. So last week I showed you how to transfer any sort of image you want onto a canvas using only a pencil and some painter's tape. You can go watch last week's video if you want to know that technique. And now I have this, it is a picture of my children, which has been penciled onto this wood panel. I'm going to paint it. So what I'm going to start by doing is just to get a neutral color, and not black, just a sort of a neutral gray. This is like a grayish brown. I'm just going to go over the lines with this neutral color. Nothing ever has to be perfect. If you want to make something perfect, just take a picture of it. In this age of sort of AI and the computers can do everything. They can make paintings, you guys. What really gives a picture that humanity is the imperfections. So don't worry about imperfections. Don't worry about making mistakes. Proves you're not a robot. Although I do love robots, but yeah. So someone asked me this technique where you sort of transfer the picture onto the canvas by tracing instead of just like drawing freehand. It's like, oh, that feels like cheating. This thing. You're not. Well, for one thing, when you make art, is this cheating? When you make art, you are not playing a game. You're where there are rules. Anything that makes it easier for you to make the artwork that you see in your head is absolutely not cheating, for one thing. And number two, if you do use this technique and you use like photographs and something, it does teach you sort of the shapes of things. Tracing things is a great way to learn how to draw. So that part's not cheating either. The only thing I would say is, the only way it would be cheating is if you were to take someone's artwork, copy it, and then pass it off as your own. That's not cool, guys. Don't do that. If you're going to copy someone else's artwork, either get their permission or use it for your own personal use, just to learn from, because it's great to learn from other artists. But don't be like selling it as your own. You have something positive to contribute. You don't need to copy anybody else's style. I've never been very good at detail brushwork, so I just get the smallest brush I can, and I'll lose some of the detail while I paint. And that's okay. That's okay. You try your best and you get better as you go. So the next thing I'm going to do is I've got the photo here for color reference. I'm going to mix up some skin color for them. This is kind of a summer shot, so they're a little bit tanned in this. Normally William has a skin tone that's similar to me, like just light, and Jadzia's is a little bit more of an olive tone. So I learned to paint pictures by doing self-portraits in high school, so I am much more practiced at mixing my skin tone than anyone else's. So it's kind of pink and a little bit of yellow and a lot of white. I think that even if your skin is quite dark, because obviously you still want to have some white in your skin. So when you're mixing, we're all like different shades of brown and orange. Yeah. It's a bit pink. It's looking a bit pink. But of course I am a bit pink, so maybe that's okay. Oh, that's Jadzia's hand. She has different skin. This is where it's important to know whose hands are whose. Because especially if they have different skin colors. Okay, there we go. One thing that's kind of strange about drawing people is that, you know, like people say, oh, you look so much like your mom, or you look so much like your kids. Sometimes those family resemblances really come out when you're painting, I find. I think there were a couple self-portraits that I made where I looked like a lot like my mom. And I'd been told I looked like my mom sort of all my life, and definitely started to see it a lot more when I was painting myself. And also as I got older, because, you know, we all look more and more like our parents as we get older. And I think my kids will find that as well. Like I said, Jadzia has a darker skin tone than William does. So I'm going to add a little bit of that neutral brown I was painting with earlier. And we'll see how that works out. When I say, like, this brown that I've made has no black in it at all. I don't tend to paint with black. As soon as you start adding black to a color, it'll tend to recede into the background. And pretty soon you'll have a picture that's entirely flat, all the way through. So, skin color is hard to mix, guys. It's hard to get it the exact right skin tone. And we are also all different colors all over our body because we're splotchy and not perfect. Because, again, not robots. Even my sort of favorite androids and robots are actually played by human beings. In case you didn't know that for some reason. Okay. Alright, so, what I had thought about when I was first getting the idea of painting these guys is that maybe there was some kind of fun things going around in the background of the picture. So you have, and when for some reason I thought about sort of, because she has his arm around, oh wait, I forgot about this. This one is supposed to be Jadzia's arm. Ha ha ha. She has her arm around him, and maybe there's sort of like a tentacly-ish monster, like tentacly sort of alien octopus thing that would have the other arm around, because she's got her arm around him. But what if there was like another like sort of tentacly alien, and he would just like kind of do the sort of like an octopus type of creature, only not an octopus exactly. Looks kind of like Squidward with like a big nose, but is not Squidward. Is a different thing. When I was younger, I had this desk that was sort of like an old, sort of, you know, I don't know if it was a hand-me-down or where it came from, but it was certainly not a new desk. It was definitely a very old desk. And I was into art, so I asked my parents if I could paint it, because, you know, and they said, you know, or my mom said, sure. And so I did. And what I painted on it was this creature with tentacles and a big eye. I've always kind of had a thing for like sort of tentacly creatures, and they sort of come into my head when I'm trying to think of sort of a fantastical thing to paint. And I don't think that you guys, I know you guys might be kind of worried about my kids here, that they're going to be devoured by this thing, but I really think that this is like a friendly, sort of happy, tentacly monster. There, he's just making friends. He's got like little, not quite feelers, not quite ears, just like little droopy things coming off. Sort of a fantasy creature. What else can I paint in this picture? Okay, so while I'm thinking about what else is going on in this picture, I am going to start coloring these guys in. A nice bright orange. I don't know what's happening, which is I always kind of forget about, is that the paint, as it starts to dry, gets a lot darker. So I'm just going to go over Jadzia again, because she's getting too dark. William, on the other hand, needs some shading. Alright, so my daughter's wearing a tie-dye shirt, and I think I'm using this color that I bought on clearance like years ago and never used, so I'm just going to use it now. It's sort of it's like a turquoise. It's a pretty color, but nothing is this color. And it's not really one you're used to mix either, so something a little bit weird about it. If you're really cheap like I am and want to get colors, just red, yellow, blue, and white is really all you need. You can mix every color. And what I'm going to kind of do is add some green. Maybe he should look forwards, like he's posing for the picture, just like they are. Posed family shots, but instead of the family, we have weird creatures. Okay. Will's hat is white or with green plaid on it, and Jadzia's is like a white shirt that's been tie-dyed. So just like beautiful. She's wearing this beautiful ruffly skirt that day. I just think it's pretty nice. When I was in art school, there was this teacher who would always think that I wasn't consistent with my painting, so he like one part would be different than another, so he would come over and he'd be like, "That looks like it was painted by a completely different hand." And he would say it in this beautiful Italian accent. If I did, I would sound like Mario, but he was very Italian, and that was sort of the fun thing about him. Okay, I'm just gonna try to give him some cheeks. Of course, he doesn't have like pink cheeks like that. That is too much. Maybe it's not. Maybe I just need to put more pink in there. Haha. More pink. And this is his nose, which should stand out a little bit more. You know what I'm thinking? That in order to sort of balance out the picture, I'm thinking of a giant frog right here. I just really feel like this place here needs just a gigantic frog. Don't ask me why, that's what he wants. I did not invent this frog. He exists. He just came to me that he's supposed to be there. He asked to be in the painting, And now here he is. I think this frog's, this is sort of a cartoony frog. But frogs kind of look like cartoons, even when they're in real life. So I'm thinking that maybe he's. I don't know. I just wanted to have a frog. He wanted to be in the picture. Who am I to say, no, frog, you can't be in this picture? It's a picture of my kids. I don't want a frog in it. He wanted to be in the picture. He gets to be. It is green. It is just the first color you think of when you think of a frog. And that's okay, right? So, what I wanted to do is add some kind of you know how you put a sunshine in the corner of kids' drawings and stuff, but instead of a sun, what I want to do is echo the pattern of the tie-dyed t-shirt, and we'll see how that looks. So, we'll start here. Okay. So, what I did with this is just everything. All of these brushes are dirty. Oops, no! Frog! It's not good to get paint on the part of your painting you don't want to get paint on. So that's just getting worse and worse, isn't it? Very forgiving. We'll call that a happy accident. You know how Bob Ross says there's no mistakes, just happy accidents. Some things actually are accidents. I don't know. You just put a blob of white on my frog. Back to what I was actually trying to paint. It's going to be some white here. Wait. And then the first color I have in this tie-dye on her shirt is this sort of salmon pink color. It's the only kind of pink color I really know how to make. So we're gonna do this. It's a beautiful tie-dyed sun. Pink. What's next? We got this ugly green. Not ugly, beautiful green color that has been totally useless to me for many years. It is, I don't regret buying this color at all, even though it is not as useful, or I don't go through it like I do some of my other colors. I'll always be going back to the store to get more primary colors and more white. But this color was made for this painting. And now it's a happy color. And the next thing we have is this dark green color. It's kind of like a dry brush technique in the sky here. You know how Bob Ross is always kind of making happy little trees, and he kind of does this somewhat dry brush technique. That's sort of what I'm doing here, but not using a fan brush. Now, the next color on the agenda here is yellow. Definitely, I probably should have started with, because it's quite a light color and it might blend and look stupid. All of these brushes now are green. Good enough. Okay. I'm thinking this yellow stripe should be thicker than the others. So let's make it more thick. Okay, so I'm going to put the pink in here. Same pink as before. Right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the sides of the canvas in red. This is vermilion. It is a beautiful, beautiful red. Just so bright. good to turn your painting sideways, upside down, whatever. Not just to paint the sides, but because you kind of notice things when things are at different sort of angles. You kind of see. Alright, I got it wrong. Puts things in a different perspective. So you look at things in a different perspective, and you notice different things. And that's true of painting, and it's true of life. Okay, so now we have a big, bright painting. What I'm finding, but I have to at times to stand back and look at it. What I'm finding is I'm not, like this big dark swatch, it's kind of drawing focus away from the subject. So even though that is what matched the people, I'm just gonna tone it down a little. But we're gonna do a lighter green. So it's just in the spirit of things. Oh, I didn't paint the top. Ha ha ha. Gotta paint the top with my vermilion. What I like about this painting is big, bold colors. What I don't like about this painting is that I've kind of lost the subjects. So I'm going to bring out the subjects by kind of outlining them a little bit. I'm not going to go around the whole thing because that doesn't look good or natural. I'm just going to go around this guy. Just having a little bit of highlights. I'm just messing around at this point. Okay, so I've got my painting to the point where I'm not really sure what to do next with it. And so this is the point in time where it's good to get a second opinion on your artwork. Okay, so I have Jadzia here, who is actually one of the subjects of this painting. So Jadzia, first, what do you like about this painting?
I like that there's an elephant squid.
An elephant squid. I never thought of it as an elephant. I just pictured like octopuses have those giant noses. It's not that it's really an octopus, it's just like a octopus-like creature, but elephant squid,
don't
okay.
Have noses.
Well, they have, it's not a nose really, they look like they have. Okay, octopuses don't have nose. You like the elephant squid, okay. What is something that could be improved in this picture, do you think?
Well, William doesn't have a green cheek and I don't
So
have
you
dirty
think
blonde hair.
You don't have dirty blonde hair? What color is your hair? Green?
Light brown.
Light brown, like this
Slightly
color?
light brown. Looks like my hair.
That's about right. So you think that there's too much yellow in your hair. That was your... So I should like... Okay, good, good. Anything else?
William's eyebrows are weird.
Could you tell it was William and you when you looked at it?
Yeah.
It looks like... Do you think it looks enough like you?
I like the human posture.
The human...
And I kind of look like I'm pregnant.
You do not! You do not look like you're pregnant. You don't. At all. Alright, so there's his cheek. Less.
This frog has a droopy eye.
It does, but that's part of his character. He wanted to have a droopy eye. So what else do you like about this picture?
But there's a rainbow background,
Mm-hmm.
and it matches his shirt. My shirt.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you noticed that because that was what I was kind of going for. Mm-hmm. Now, my next question to you is, do you think this picture is finished?
Do you have a very light pink?
Do I have a light pink? I do. I have this pink. Even lighter? Okay. Even lighter?
And put it in the corner.
In the corner, like right here?
Yeah.
Like, should it be the whole thing or just like this?
Just
like right there. Okay. Okay. That works. Okay.
Well, I need a star in his shirt to make him look even more like a cowboy.
You want him to look like a cowboy?
Yeah, just put a star on his shirt.
Like the sheriff star?
Yeah.
Okay. Why not? There we go. That actually does add something to it, doesn't it? Okay. I do need to do. I think. What do you?
And he needs a belt.
But his shirt is lower than his waist. Like his waist would be up here, so it'd be weird to put a belt, I think. But do you think maybe there should be more of a delineation between his pants and his shirt?
Also, I got an idea.
For drawing?
Yeah, for the painting.
Okay, what else?
When it dries, you get like clear paint and like go all over. So
that is a technique that I could do actually. But I can't do that until the paint. I can't do that until the painting dries. But for now, I'm going to call this picture done. So I'm going to sign my name. Okay.
Flibig.
That's a Z, goofball. Jen Flipz. Okay. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much to my guest critique, my guest critique, Jadzia. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you to my guest critic, Jadzia.
You're welcome.
Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next week.